Monette, and this is my channel Evolve with Monette. We're doing a little truck chat today. Listen, F around and find out when poking the bear goes wrong. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath. I specialize in conversations that are crafted around the culture, pop culture specifically, and also our astrology. What I want you to take away, I'm having a lot of takeaways from this, and I was out running errands and I was thinking about how to bring this to you because there are so many lessons from the Will Smith situation. I have another video up here about my take on it regarding their astrology signs. But now let's talk about the entanglements. Let's talk about those parties of three, and let's talk about how it takes a strong stomach for anybody to really deal with it. Let's talk about what's been building up in Will and how we've been seeing this man break over the last few years as he has been dealing with this, because that is what everybody's talking about right now. Why did this happen? Because does the joke warrant the slap? Well, years and years of attack after attack does warrant the slap. Was Chris Rock the one specifically attacking him year after year? No, but there is a history of him having some funny, spicy commentary, or funny to him, but spicy commentary in 2016 about them not being invited to the very Oscar that Will Smith won last night. So Jada Smith boycotted it when her husband wasn't duly noted and noticed, because they ride for each other. Excuse me. We heard them on Red Table Talk say "Bad Marriage for Life," making a play off of the Bad Boy series that he and Martin Lawrence did, where it was the motto is "Bad Boys for Life." That was the theme. Well, at the end of their Red Table Talk, where they discussed the entanglement, Will Smith's wife Jada had an affair with August Alsina, and they talked about it because August Alsina put it out there because he was really in love with Jada, and he wanted to get his feelings out, as we do when we're in love. And it was something that Will had to kind of eat because it felt, the world was like, is he being cuckolded? Like, how is this happening? And why are you letting this young kid come in and take your wife? And the way that Jada was talking about August Alsina was disrespectful. A lot of people are making the commentary that it's truly Jada who is disrespecting Will. And I definitely have been of that belief, you know? I also understand the complications of relationships because of the nature of my job, meaning that I talk to people all day long regarding personality types and marriages and lives, crossovers, affairs, third parties, all of that. Every single day that Jesus sends, I get a call from someone, some woman, some man from every continent in this whole world asking about their guy or girl. Can they win them back? Can they get them back? Why do they like the other person more than this, more than that? What about our vows? Will they leave the other person that they're vowed to? This is something that we all do, and it's not talked about. What we are watching is something that's playing out in the most spectacular of ways. It's a dumpster fire, if ever there was. And what I saw was something that changed the landscape of Will's soul. Because in a moment last night on the Oscars, he slapped Chris Rock and he lost control, but there's a lot more going on. And what is going on is that he's been dealing with this all along, and he's been the strong one. He's been taking it on the chin, and he is dealing with his own pathology of rectifying situations where he couldn't win. He talks about feeling like a punk, his words specifically, when he couldn't fight his father, when his father would leave his mother bloody. He's trying to fix some family pathology too. He decided not to be an abuser. Jada was the one who was a little rah-rah, a little more hood, and she says as much, and so does he on their Red Table Talks. And he said, and she has said, that Will set a standard in their house that there was not going to be blows thrown about. But last night there was, just not between them. But there were blows thrown about regarding other men. The biggest ego blow you will ever have is having someone that you love, that you've committed to, tell you that they're so in love with someone else. It will bring out the worst in you. I have felt it myself, and I have been there myself. Both sides of it, guys. We all have the opportunity to feel that, to look into the eyes of a partner and to see their betrayal and whatever. Whether we let our darker demons prevail is another question, but I want us to start being honest with ourselves. None of us like being put in that situation. None of us like being the third party. I will tell you, everybody I work with, not every single person, but a majority of the people I work with are in their connections and their marriages, and in their heart they have a booski. But how you play that will show how you deteriorate the person that you committed to be with, right? And what we're watching is a deterioration of Will Smith. Will Smith wanted to crack his head. I've been there, but I left instead. We all have that in us. I'm not a violent person. I don't fight. But on one very particular night, I saw the evil come out of me. They didn't see it because I didn't want them to see. But I knew, oh, I can never be around you again because you disrespected me. There's something about being disrespected that changes us internally. And he felt disrespected, and I will tell you why I know. Because of the way that he approached and slapped bro. He slapped him specifically. That is a sign of disrespect. It's a bitch slap. He could have done a closed fist. He could have done more damage. He purposely slapped him because he said, you will not talk anymore about my wife, and to the world he was saying about my marriage. Interestingly enough, they talked about it. Now, what I want to correct here is a narrative. They did not just start talking about it. They kept their, whatever the confines of their relationship is, they kept it pretty quiet. August Alsina is the one who brought it to the forefront, and then they had to address it. So everybody's like, well, they talked about it. Yes, they talked about it, but what is not being said is that their hand was forced. She wanted that stuff better off left for dead, better left in the steaminess of that bed, that entanglement bed, and now it became a punchline. This man, who was a man with an ego like any of us, became a punchline for years and years and years and years. People talked about how Jada was the one who was wearing the pants, and Will was shuddering in his fears. We saw Will at the red table talk in tears as she lauded and talked about other men. I am not making her the villain or the vixen. I know what it is as a woman to crave or desire other things. We all do. We all have had a relationship or two where we're with the person we're committed to, but really we got another boo. Everybody understands that. But what we don't understand is being attacked and on a multi-million scale. I'm not talking about dollars, I'm talking about people that are rooting to see you fail. You get it, guys? It is way more than just, oh, your friends and your bestie and your co-workers and a few people knowing about your business. This is millions of people that think that they want to give relationship advice when they are calling me and calling other people like me to advise them with their life. That's on a much smaller scale. And in their entanglement of 1, 2, or 3, they see no way to prevail. And yet we thought that this man was just going to bear the weight of that forever. Yeah, him and Jada might have re-glued themselves back together last night. I made the observation in my video that the sex was going to be so right, because there was a primal thing that happened that women react to, and all these men are like, I don't condone it, that's not what you do. BS. It's what any man worth their salt would do. Maybe not to that degree, but they would have to address the disrespect immediately. Because what happens when Will goes home and he doesn't? What does he hear in the car? How far does that go? How does that add to the narrative? And if he's trying to climb out of the place he was when he was a kid, or the place he wasn't when he was a kid, when he was not in power, as he watched what his father did, this was his hour. Yeah, it was his finest hour. It was his also worst hour. Both things are true. Finally winning the Oscar for all the work he has done, all the work he did do. My God. Icon. His son has a song that was multi-million selling, platinum, God knows all the word and verbiage for it. They actually did a thing together, and I was talking to my bestie about it this morning as we were just discussing the situation, and I was telling her about the lyrics when Will came in with the remix, and he says he was born from an icon living, met his mom and had some icon children. He understands his assignment and who he is, and heavy is the head that wears a crown. Maybe you don't think it's a crown he should wear. Maybe you think it's one he should be stripped of. But he is up there. He got there because he worked and persevered. And he did it for year after year after year after year after year, 20 plus years. And finally they said, we give you this thing. King Richard he played, all hail the king. And in that moment he melded with his persona that he had become, just like Jared Leto or Heath Ledger or other people that we see that are infamous for becoming the character. They don't become one person or the other, they become a we. They merge, they do not break. We've seen it with Jim Carrey when he was playing Andy Kaufman. Take after take. These men are just the ones that entertain us, but some of them do not default and they do not take a break. And I think maybe this character and maybe the character of husband, of father, of third party in a relationship was more than he could take. The third party thing will trigger the fuck out of you. I have never felt more triggered. And my triggering was covertly done. It wasn't even anything as overt as what he has had to go through. And I almost turned into, the Incredible Hulk. Don't poke the bear. It's a totem that I related to, actually, in a connection that I was with. It was a way that we communicated. It was a funny inside joke between us. The bear totem means many things, but I was a bear that was continually poked. And that other person and the other parties and the people laughing didn't know the hell and fury it would bring. They just thought it was a joke. Be careful of the bear that you poke. I don't know why I find myself sympathizing with him. And I think it's because of my empathic nature. How could I not sympathize with who is what is normally a benevolent king? The thing, and the point that I was making this morning to my bestie, is that what we know about Will is he is not often testy. He has made a whole point of his career to not use profanity in his music and to not be extra sexual in his films. He doesn't go there. So he has a moment where, out of a blindness of love and protection for his wife, he has to stick up for her because that's his wife, that's his life. And also maybe he is infuriated with her because she's put him in this position because she genuflected and gave away his position to someone that she said fulfilled her more. And insult after insult, red table talk after red table talk, Will Smith did ignore until one day he stood up on that stage on that Oscar floor, put his hand across Chris Rock's face and said, "No more. I've had enough." It wasn't about Chris Rock fully. Yes, maybe there was some previous beef, actually, but what I saw was a man who had been bullied. I know it seems insane, crazy, it's a hot take, but pay attention to the last few years. It was more than he could take. Clearly, this man, in his finest hour and in his worst moment, did break. A cautionary tale for those of you that think you can handle polyamory. You can't. This is not what happened to me. It wasn't. But I watch a lot of people think that this is a decision. And can I tell you the truth? I was listening to T.S. Madison, who is a content creator here, and she has a Queen's Court, or had the Queen's Court. She has another show right now on Fox Soul. Let me tell you, she was the most honest. And T.S. was giving some fantastic advice, and she said that this is not what you want in your life. She said many women or men will kind of defer to polyamory or taking in a third party or having a threesome because they want to save the relationship with the person that they love. So I don't know what the rules are. That's Jada's business. Shout out to Alexander Rogers. That's Jada's business. I don't know what the rules were in their relationship, but I know that she fell in love with August Alsina, and so did he. He said it. It was mutual. And Will Smith was watching. And they talk about Raleigh on that Red Table Talk, how they almost broke apart because of it. But he made a vow. Bad marriage for life. Whatever you want to say, that's his wife. And last night, he showed it. Will loves her. I hope Jada knows it. Because I've been kind of frustrated with her. Because I see how she may not be taking accountability for how she's pushed him right into the arms of crazy. Nobody is his baby. I'm not saying Will Smith didn't have his people, his little booskies, but what I'm saying is he had enough class and decorum to not let it be known. There is the etiquette of the guma. The guma is a name for the other woman, essentially. It's usually said in Italian culture. You see it a lot in mob movies. The guma is the other woman. There's an etiquette with the guma. Usually gumas keep their mouths shut. The wife knows the guma exists, but the husband continues to insist that it doesn't. The whole thing's toxic, y'all. I'm not going to give you a playbook for how it works because it usually blows up to some degree. But the guma knows that she's not a fucking wifey. What's happened here in the culture, August Alsina would have been in the place of the guma. August Alsina got real big for his britches. Side chicks today don't keep their mouths shut. They don't understand how the game goes. And I know you argue, Monette, there shouldn't be side chicks. This is not right. That's nice. Wake up. No more fairy tale life. We're adults. The puritanical society we reside in doesn't exist. Everybody's wild as a Taliban. Debauchery persists. I promise you. I counsel it daily. And so I had to get realistic. Take out my Pollyanna braids, put in my punk rock punk pink hair, and say no if, ands, or maybe. Let me tell you how to get from here to there. Sometimes I'm counseling people into or out of situationships that I would want no part of, but what I know is that I can't stop anyone from doing what they're going to do. What I do counsel them always is to be respectful of the person that actually loves you. Because there's someone in that third party who actually gives a fuck about you, and usually it's not the person that you would betroth your life to. August Alsina will move on and he will get pregnant with somebody else, and he will move on and Jada will longingly mourn him. But who was the one that put his career on the line last night? Who was the one that was willing to do a slapbox fight? Who was the one who screamed into the night without a mic, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. Keep my wife. He was his wife's keeper. You like it or you don't like it, but it wasn't the threesome person. It wasn't the third party. It was a person who had given 20 plus years, 20-year marriage to that person. Jada's disrespected it. Will's disrespected it. But on its face, Will's also protected it. We always hear about Jada's BS. We never can pin down Will for real about his sex or sexual escapades. But Jada, we can clock her day after day. And I am not slut shaming or anything like that. I respect a woman's sexual agency. I believe we all deserve to have our back scratched the way we like it to be, if you feel me. But what I'm telling you is there is something to be said for operating respectfully. Do you, boo? We all do. Quietly, secretly, privately, covertly. Different IP addresses, Wordle games, words with friends that drive us insane. Shout out to the bad vegan. We all operate how we want to. Nothing and no one can stop us from doing what we want to do. Then be and that new boo, because they will suck you right out of yourself, or at the very worst possibility and scenario, they will cause the person that you love to lose himself. Snapped exists for a reason. That show on Oxygen, First 48 exists for a reason. People lose themselves again and again. For Will Smith, slap a lot of fellow cronies patting his back saying, calm down, bro. It's okay. We can get past this. We'll talk to Chris. We'll get you to talk to Chris. For other people with a lower vibration, with more ammunition, with more to lose because the one person that they love, them they would not choose, with a gun in their hand, they change their whole life. We see them sit behind prison and say, I just wanted my wife or my husband. Be careful of the dalliance that you lose yourself in, because it has a ripple effect for everybody. And last night, we saw that it's not just everybody hating Chris. We saw everybody watching Will break. We saw a man who'd had more than he could take. And it wasn't just from Chris. It was an onslaught from the real and the fake, brought on from the person he loved the most, the person to whom he was the most close. It wasn't August Alsina. It wasn't the comedians. It wasn't the glitterati. It wasn't the nosy busybodies. It wasn't us at home. It wasn't the gossip blogs. It was the person who he put on a throne. Long live the king. But the queen left him alone. And in order to glue that all back together, he had to protect his home. I get it. Fortunately, she's still in the fight with him. I've also seen people protect their home and love and care for the children when the other spouse is completely divested, because the third party is the one they want to be in. Ruin up things. A really good example is Kendu and Mary. He had a third party. Mary even said, if you can leave her alone, then this can just be a nobody. Let her be the side chick. Let her be the guma. He wouldn't leave her. Guess what happened? The guma, the side chick, left him. Now she's pregnant. On Instagram, talking about that new man's her king. Meanwhile, back at the farm, Mary's living her best life. Meanwhile, Can Do is filled with nothing but regret and strife. He wouldn't choose the person writing for him, who even gave him some level of permission and said, listen, I get it. It happens. Just stop disrespecting me. Leave that God-forsaken third party who doesn't give a damn about you and will discard you just as soon as I do. And no lies were told. That is the message for somebody here. Especially y'all, if you're getting old, it's not a game. It's not a game. Vet the person. Some people leave their partners and move into a new thing. Some people manage affairs and do it too. But I promise you, don't disrespect the person that actually loves you. Both things can be true. You can be all in love and also have a new boo and also have someone that you love too. It sounds confusing, but I promise you it's something a lot of us do. But what will always backfire on you is when you stress out the partner that's riding for you, because they will fracture and you don't know how they're going to break. Because again, eventually your disrespect, if it's you disrespecting, will be more than they can take. And when someone shatters, that shrapnel gets stuck everywhere. Because it was a load for them that was too much to bear. No one can carry the weight of something completely by themselves. Don't poke the bear. Love you guys so much. Come back and join me next time. Oh, I have some messages here. Guys. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. The pollen is like the spring has sprung, and my allergies have too. All right, let's see. All right, hi, Kaylin says, Kaysala. Kaysala says, hi. Hi, Mona, good to see you. Jess says, hey, everyone. Jess says, I'm working, but keeping the streaming so Mona gets those views. Oh, thank you, Jess. Man, guys, Jess is like a heart of gold. My redhead with a heart of gold. Love you so much, sweetie. Kaysella says, I was wondering what... Kaysella says, I was wondering if Will has Mars. Looks like he has a Saturn return. Mars return Saturn. I'll look into it. Masonia says, hello. Will has been bullied for years, Case Sala says. They went after his kids, now recently his marriage, and he has been very Libra-like. So yes, the bear came out. It's so true. This was a man trying to find balance. Case Sala says, me too. Seriously can't watch or read anything regarding this because it's so triggering. I can relate to him being poked and people just expecting you not to say anything until you do. Then you're the problem. I hope she realizes it too. Case Sala, you were telling all facts here, sweetie. It is absolutely... I gotta start the car over again. Oh. Don't ever think you ain't have these dream girl. They wanna pit us against each other when we succeed, and for no reasons they wanna see us end up like we were Gina or Mean Girl. Wow. That's so funny. I hope they don't take my video down, but the message there was actually very accurate about separating people. It's Doja Cat, Peaches. It's Doja Cat. Featuring Doja Cat. I don't know what the song is. It says it on my Sirius XM. It says Peaches, Justin Bieber, Giveon, Daniel Caesar, but that sounded like Doja to me. So I don't know. I hope they don't take down the video because of that or demonetize it, because y'all, copyright strikes are real. They hear like 20 seconds of music, they will take the whole thing down. Anyway, I've had it happen on some really juicy videos that they've took me down. Hopefully this message reaches you. People poke the bear all the time. And I agree with you, Kaysella. Then they're like, oh my gosh, how did it? It wasn't that serious and I didn't mean it. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did mean it. Yes, you did. Because you did it over and 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 over again. Oh, I think we cut out. You did it over and over and over again. People do mean it. And it's very rare that I will allow someone to get a reaction out of me. And once I react, then I divest completely and permanently. I don't play any games. I don't stick around. I don't try to find out. I just don't like you anymore after that. And I know that seems weird to love someone for years and years and then just be like, I hate you. Yep, because you're a person who would like to see me triggered like this, all because you're selfish. Because listen, here's the thing about all the parties. You can talk to somebody. Most people are pretty, like I said, regarding Mary J. She was like, listen, I get it. It happened. I don't want it to continue. You got to get this girl away. way, he refused to do it, and then he lost everything. He lost the girl and he lost Mary. That's usually how it works out. So when people poke that bear continuously, they will lose out. Eventually, immediately, and ultimately, they lose out. It's never what they thought it was going to be. Even we watched this with Kevin, Wendy, and this other girl, Sharina, that he had the baby with. There's a collateral damage. We saw Wendy kind of lose her mind. Very much like Will Smith, which is so funny because if Wendy was still on air, she'd be talking about Will and saying that it's wild. But she had a mental breakdown. That's what happened. He chose the third party over her and still got to have her money and whatever, but she lost herself. And he's like, oh, I'm happy with the third party. But he'll never be a power couple with the third party. Maybe the third party made him happy to some degree. I am never going to dispute that third parties can't make you happy. But what I am going to dispute is that there are some people that have assignments, power couple assignments, and you'll never replicate that with a third party. You can have other people come in. Usually the person that gets wrong will get a new assignment, hashtag soulmate life. Listen to some of those readings. You'll get somebody else that comes in that fits it very well. But whatever you have with that person that you were supposed to do, they are now a karmic and it's not going to come true. And they can think that they're having a third party power couple with the other person. It's usually a joke and they usually struggle. Or the other person just leaves them. It's inevitable. Anyway, so good sharing energy with you guys. Let me see. All right, come back and join me next time and evolve together. Y'all, I can't see this X in the sun. Got it.